What's up? Welcome back. You can lose 10 to 30 pounds or more, regain your health, and achieve your ideal body in just a few months. In the video I made about portion control, we talked about how you can use my weight loss assessment to determine your meal plan. We mostly covered how portion control with healthy foods is the key to consistent weight loss without going hungry, and how you need a meal plan in order to effectively implement portion control. I briefly touched on meal planning, but now we're going to really get into it because this is key. Meal planning with whole foods will make or break your health and weight loss results. Nutrition is 80% of your results, but if you don't make a meal plan and follow through with it, it's nearly 100% failure rate. You've probably heard the saying, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That couldn't be more true when it comes to meal planning and weight loss. Fitness is also very important for weight loss, but it's only a small part of the equation. You need to exercise to put yourself into a greater calorie deficit, increase your metabolism, and improve your overall health. But without proper meal planning and following through with that plan, you will not see the results you want. The most effective use of the portion fixed eating system is when you meal plan in advance. We're going to create a realistic plan right now in just 5 steps. Step 1, input your meal plan allowances. Open your portion control meal planner, input your starting calorie target and corresponding meal plan that you got from your weight loss assessment. Use the portion fixed eating plan PDF that came with your weight loss assessment. Find your meal plan and input the number of containers you get on that plan. Don't forget to plan for water too. Take your body weight in pounds, divide that number by 2, and that's how many ounces you should be drinking every single day. This will help keep everything moving, keep you healthy, and stay full. Step 2, evaluate your current eating habits. Before you ever start planning meals, you should evaluate your current eating habits. You can do this even before you get the containers if you use this conversion chart. This is a pretty labor-intensive process, so if this seems too hard, that's fine. Just skip it and move on to the next step. But bear with me for a moment and try this out. When you first get the portion control containers, or if you use the conversion chart I've linked below, just eat like you would normally eat and track what you eat exactly. This will force you to learn what foods go in which containers, and whether or not you should even be eating it or not while you're trying to lose weight. Keep track of it all, and be honest, and evaluate where you're at versus where you need to be. Let's take a look at a typical day of eating for me before I started losing weight. Granted, I'm working from memory, and this was several years ago, but I'm a creature of habit, and this is a pretty good representation of a typical day of eating for me. You'll want to start your evaluation by writing down everything you eat in a day. Don't leave anything out. Refer to the food lists that come with every Beachbody program, and figure out how to categorize each food you're eating. Some of the foods you eat won't be on the list, so if you get stuck, just Google what food group something belongs to. To figure out how many containers each food takes up, just use a rough estimate of about 100 calories per container. In other words, if you're eating about 300 calories worth of Girl Scout cookies, that would be 3 carb containers. This 100 calorie method applies mostly to carbs, but it'll sort of average out for the other containers as well. Don't forget about hidden fats. You'll put those in the teaspoon section just for comparison's sake. I know the containers and calorie counts of all the foods I eat and used to eat, so this is a fairly accurate representation of how I used to eat before I began losing weight. The results are shocking. As you can see, I used to eat a diet extremely high in carbs, high in fats, and low in protein, vegetables, and fruit. This is what's called a SAD diet, literally, the standard American diet. If you eat SAD as well, it's not your fault. It's what the food industry has conditioned our society to eat so they can continue to profit off of us. And I personally believe that it's the root of many of our lifestyle illnesses. But that's a discussion for another time in private. The good news is that you can fix this. You can take your power back, learn how to eat healthy, and lose weight in the process. If you go through this self-evaluation of your eating habits, you can start making meal plans knowing what you need to correct, as in which foods to take away and which foods to add. You'll find that as you add more of what you're missing, it'll be easier to take away what you have too much of. Don't be discouraged if your eating isn't perfect. It'll take time to learn how to eat correctly and clean up your diet. But once you do, you'll feel like a new person. Just take it one day at a time and you'll get there. Again, if this process of evaluating your current eating habits ends up being too difficult, don't sweat it. Just ignore it all and skip to the next step, and we'll start from scratch how to meal plan with healthy foods. That leads us to step 3. Write down your daily meals. Armed with an idea of how to improve your nutrition, plan the meals for your first day using whole foods. If you haven't already, you can click on the link below to download a 7-day sample meal planner to give you an idea how to get started. And by the way, all of these meal plans and meal planners that I've got linked below can also be downloaded to your phone. If you've got an Acrobat reader on your phone, you can do your meal planning right there and always have it handy when mealtime comes around. So let's start by typing in a day's worth of meals, starting with breakfast. If you get hungry before lunch every day, then include a snack so that you'll feel better, keep your hormones level, and don't binge at lunchtime. Personally, I make lunch my biggest meal of the day. I need energy sooner than later, and I don't want to go hungry throughout the day, working, stressing out, and burning calories, only to sit down at the end of my day, eat a huge meal, and then sit on the couch where I'm not burning any calories after a huge meal. So that's just me, but whatever you choose, make sure it works with your schedule, your lifestyle, and that it supports a healthy mental and physical state for you. Step 4, match your containers to each meal. Write down the equivalent containers and add them up. Compare them to your meal plan allowances. If you're under, for instance, if you have too few veggies, find a way to add more of that food. If you're over, for instance, if you got too many carbs, find a way to remove or reduce that food. So let's take a look at my meal plan and how I balance out my meals. On this day, when I first take a look at what I have planned out, I know right off the bat that the two meals that I'm not willing to change or remove are breakfast and lunch. I usually start my day with Shakeology, and even if I don't start with Shakeology, I still find a way to drink it every single day because of the health benefits. So I'm not going to remove or change my breakfast in any way, so I can go ahead and insert the container amounts for that meal. Moving on to my snack, I'll insert the container amounts for that as well, though I'm not married to the idea of having this snack if push comes to shove. Now on to lunch. I know from the Beachbody recipe that Siggi's meatballs are going to be 1.5 proteins based on how many I'm going to eat, and then I'm going to want 1.5 carbs of rice, as well as some fruits to finish it off. I know my body well, and I know that this combination of food is going to help me feel full and strong throughout this afternoon, which is usually when I'm at my weakest if I don't eat right, and that's where I'll start binging if I don't plan carefully. About 2 to 3 hours after lunch is when I'm going to work out, and directly after my workout, I'm going to make a protein shake with Beachbody's Recover. I add half banana and peanut butter, and it tastes like a dessert for me. This helps me build muscle after my workout instead of breaking down muscle, and it also keeps me full until dinner time. Now, after much observation and experimenting, I know that for me, personally, I get the best body composition and weight loss results when I taper off the carbs towards the evening and focus more on plant-based and protein foods. My body just responds well to that, even though I'd rather be binging on carbs. That being said, if I completely eliminate carbs from my evening meal, I'm usually cranky and will often abandon my plans and satisfy my carb cravings. So I make sure to save a few carbs for the evening just to get that slight dopamine hit so I can enjoy my evening. I used to eat a whole plate full of open-faced sandwiches for dinner, but now I replace most of that with a salad, while still having a few open-faced sandwiches to keep that comfortable, familiar carb dinner that I enjoy. I'm purposely going to enter in the amount of carbs I used to eat so I can show you how this works here in a second. Finally, we move on to the green smoothie. As you can see from this meal plan, I'm not a huge fan of vegetables. If I didn't throw in this salad at dinner time, I wouldn't have any veggies on my plan, so I've added in another green smoothie to get in those last veggies. I add fruit juice just because the smoothie would be unbearable without it, and some MCT oil for the health benefits. So there we go. Now it's time to tally up our containers and compare them to our meal plan portion goals. As you can see, my initial container count does not at all match up with my meal plan allowances. So now it's time to take a look at what we need to remove and what we need to add. Let's start by reducing carbs, which is often the most difficult task in meal planning. Like I said before, I'm not married to this snack idea, but it's only taking up half a carb, so I'm going to look elsewhere first. I also said before that my lunch is a non-negotiable meal, so I'm not going to touch those carbs either. I need those to make it through the day. The clear offender is the amount of bread I've got planned for the dinner. 6 slices of bread will take up more than a full plate, and that's a lot to eat in the evening. I'm 3 carbs over my limit, so I'm going to reduce my dinner sandwich bread from 6 to 3, and now when we update our total, we're within the meal plan's carb allowances. Let's move over to proteins. Again, Shakeology is a non-negotiable meal for me, so I'm going to leave this alone. I could go without the beach bar, but again, this isn't very much, so I'm going to look elsewhere first. Like breakfast, this lunch is also non-negotiable for me, so I'm not going to touch that. I'm also not going to give up my post-workout recovery protein, so I'm going to leave that one alone. So once again, that leaves us with dinner being the top offender that I can reduce my container count from. And this is actually an easy fix because I've already cut my bread count in half, so reducing the amount of turkey slices I use on my bread is a no-brainer. I'll take away 1 protein, update my totals, and that brings us within the meal plan's protein allowance for the day. While we're here at dinner, I have to decide between getting rid of my avocado or my cheese in order to fit within my healthy fats limit. My salad's got so much going on that I'm okay with dropping the avocado. I'd rather have the cheese on the sandwiches, so I'll delete the avocado from my meals and update the container limits to fit within the healthy fats limit. And lastly, and real quickly, you can see that I'm over on my fruits as well. This is an easy fix as well. I can easily remove this and not compromise my lunch's integrity. Yes, I said lunch was non-negotiable, but the fruits are more to help finish me off and not because I really need them there. Also, I don't need the grapes in the morning, so I'll remove those as well. And now we're within our container limits for fruits. So you get the idea how this works when it comes to taking stuff away. Look at the biggest offenders and see if you can eliminate the food from your plan or reduce the amount you use. But let's take a look at when you're below your limit. This is almost always the case with veggies for me, and this day is no exception. Even with a salad and a green smoothie, I'm still below my vegetable limit for the day. The funny thing is, if you find yourself going hungry through the day, the easiest way to get more filling meals is to add foods that you're not getting enough of. I don't want veggies with this breakfast. I don't like to do veggies as snacks, but I can easily add something like broccoli to my lunch to make it even bigger, help me stay full through the afternoon, and get the health and weight loss benefits that come from adding plant sources to your diet. So I'm going to add broccoli, add 1 green to my lunch, and now I've got a perfectly balanced meal plan for the day. And that's what this is all about, balance. The more food groups you have in a meal, the better you're going to feel, and the easier it will be to eat healthy every day, all day. When you eat balanced meals, weight loss becomes easy, and your health is going to be incredible. I feel like the hardest part in all of this comes down to step 3, and that's figuring out what meals you want to eat each day. Whether you're just starting to consider eating healthier, or you've been doing this for years, coming up with meal ideas is by far the most challenging part of meal planning. That leads us to step 5, simplify your meal plans. If coming up with healthy meals that you enjoy sounds like a daunting idea, you'll definitely want to sign up for Beachbody On Demand. It's only $99 per year, and not only will you get access to all of Beachbody's workout programs, but you'll also get access to Beachbody's cooking program called Fixate included for free. Fixate comes with a very extensive recipe book and tons of cooking videos with honestly some of the tastiest meals I've ever eaten in my entire life. So instead of having to come up with your own meals with whole ingredients from scratch, just find a recipe that looks good, and Fixate will tell you exactly how many portion control containers each meal contains. So the work of figuring out meals and matching containers is done for you. And whether you're an omnivore, vegetarian, or vegan, there are plenty of recipes for you. Meal planning for weight loss is extremely easy when you use Fixate recipes, and they taste incredible. So if that's something you're interested in, contact me to get started. I'll help you get oriented to Beachbody on Demand and the Fixate recipes, help you find a fitness program that works for you, and help you through your weight loss journey in any way you need. So if you can believe it, that's the quick version of how to meal plan. In the near future, I'll be coming out with a much more in-depth course on meal planning exclusively for my customers, but for now, there should be plenty of information to get you started. Once you've got an entire day planned out to match the container amounts in your meal plan, start working on building that up to 7 days. Eventually, you'll want to get that up to 21 days. If you're planning your meals 21 days in advance, that's enough variety to never really get tired of what you're eating, and this will ensure you stick with healthy eating so you can achieve your weight loss and health goals. Meal planning will ensure you lose weight rapidly, consistently, and you'll regain your health and feel amazing in the process. Your success starts and ends with making a meal plan and following through with it. So in the next video, we're going to do just that. Show you how to follow through with your meal plan to ensure that you succeed. Now that you know what kinds of foods to eat, how many portions to eat, and you've got a meal plan laid out for you, the final step is to organize that info into an easy shopping list and then prep those meals. None of the stuff we just talked about will do you any good if you skip the shopping and meal prep. You need to stock your fridge with the foods you need, and then you need to follow through with your meal plan by prepping those meals before you're hungry. This is how you win in this game. If you haven't taken my weight loss assessment, be sure to do that so you can find out how long it will take you to achieve your ideal weight and figure and to get caught up with the tools you need to get there. If you have taken the weight loss assessment, then the next email will include a grocery shopping planner that integrates with your meal planner, along with an invaluable process of meal prepping so you can just set it and forget it. I'll see you in the next video.